My name is Richard Breward. I'm the Honorary Curator of Archaeology at the Museum, which I've done for about 8 years.
We're in Dorchester Museum in front of a special collection of artefacts that are in the museum. So Richard, with the weapons, who would have made them? What would the process of being to make these weapons?
Well, the process of being to smelt the iron, to extract the iron from the ore, and then to heat it up and then bash it, and that's the way you make the weapons.
How skilled would you have to be to make the weapons?
I think in those days, in terms of these days, very skilled. You would have been the sort of among the elite of the village, or whatever it was that was at Maiden Castle.
Inside the case there is like a metal spear which is all like rusted.
Yes, it is, and we have no idea what it looked like in its totality. It's been that's how it was got from the ground. That's all we have to work on, and that's been conserved. So special chemical application have been made to it, so it doesn't deteriorate any further.
So in front of me we have some bronze finger and toe rings. Was decorations and jewellery important to people who lived in Maiden Castle?
It was very important for a number of reasons. It showed status. It made people feel good about themselves and their position in society.
Would everyone have worn decorative pieces?
Most definitely not, because they couldn't afford to give everyone them. Only the people, privileged few, had jewellery. It was immediately obvious who the elite were because they were wearing the jewellery. If they didn't wear the jewellery, they were nobody, and you could ignore them. If you came new to Maiden Castle, you'd immediately know who the elite was because of what they wore.
So in front of me we have some iron and bronze cart fittings. Why was the ox the animal most used by the Iron Age people?
Because it was strong, it would do the work, it had good bones, and it was good to eat. Without it they'd have had to lug everything around themselves, and they obviously didn't want to do that. It was easier to get an ox with a cart, to pull a plough, to pull carts and things.
Why were horses so rare in the Iron Age period?
Because apart from riding it, there wasn't a lot you could do with a horse, and I think the sort of life they led there made them favour other animals.
What sort of person in Maiden Castle would have owned a horse?
The chief. It were quite rare for other people to hold them. I mean, you might have a group of half a dozen people. If there were half a dozen horses up there, you might have a half a dozen people who I suspect would be the chief's bodyguard, and they would ride horses and go with him wherever he went, so they could protect him.
How would he be regarded by others living in the castle?
As the boss, quite simply. He wouldn't have been elected, he would have got the position through birth or through combat or some other reason.
So in front of me in the cabinet we have a dog's old skeleton. So would you like to tell me some more about the dog skeleton?
Yes, it was found at Maiden Castle, and it represents the Iron Age use of dogs. It was used for hunting, companionship, the same sort of things we use dogs for today, really.
What other animal remains were found?
All sorts of things: sheep, goats, horses, cows, aurochs.
So what kind of lifestyle does that tell us about the people that live in Maiden Castle?
They farmed animals. They farmed animals for food. They farmed animals for other products like milk. They farmed products for the use of their bones. They made these combs out of it, and the gouges and the hinges, and they also made the pins, very fine pins you see down the bottom there.